Here with Scoot Henderson, top NBA draft prospect here in Las Vegas for the G League Ignite. It's the 92s this week. Scoot, appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. How you doing today, man?
I'm great. I appreciate being here.
What do you love about basketball?
I love the excitement of basketball, the winning of basketball. I love winning and the competitiveness of basketball. You know, it'll be times where players will go one-on-one, and it'll be times where, you know, a little bump here and there. But I just love, you know, the lobs, the good passes, just everything that involves like team action and scoring, honestly, and great stops, just the whole aspect of the game, honestly.
I feel like when I was, you know, growing up watching basketball, like in the early 2000s, there was more like ISO players. And like nowadays, the younger players, including yourself coming in, like you say, you love the lobs and the team-oriented actions. Why is it that you feel like a lot of the younger players coming in now play that style where it's very selfless, all about the team, all about making the extra pass? Because it seems like you like kind of represent a lot of those types of players coming in now.
Because I feel like if you come in the NBA right now with that kind of mindset, I don't think it would last long.
The selfish one.
Yeah, selfish mindset. I don't think you could last more than a year or two with the great players they have in the NBA right now. And I feel like as long as you know, you can still do that, but I feel like you got to work your way in, grind your way in. And
there's a moment for playing like that.
It's always a moment, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, the vets, they're going to give you those times. And the coaching staff, they're going to notice what work you put in practice, and, you know, and God is going to repay you for it. So
the NBA is supposed to be potentially changing the high school rule, you know, the age limit where high school players could go straight to the NBA. Right now, there's all these different paths: G League, International, OTE. It's crazy the amount of paths there are right now. Do you think it would be beneficial for high school players, like top elite talents like you, to be able to go straight to the NBA?
For sure. I think so. I think if you got it, you got it. And I feel like as long as you got that confidence and, you know, the good people around you and, you know, your head on straight, I feel like you can do it. And I don't think there'd be no other reason why you couldn't, other than, you know, other people worrying. And that's what I don't like. You know, if the special talent thinks he can do it, let him do it. And if it doesn't work out, then it just don't work out. You know what I mean?
What's your current assessment of your playmaking ability?
I think it's great. I think it's always been good.
Like 1 to 10. Where'd you put it right now?
10.
It's 10 already.
Yeah.
So Chris Paul, what is he, a 15?
He's a 15, 20.
How do you go from 10 to 15 then? Well, what's the next
I think it's just looking at the player behind. I think that's what it is. And just watching even more film. You know, he's been in the league for 10 plus years. So just watching more film and more games, getting more reps and, you know, seeing and imagining what's going to happen. Even training, imagining what's going to happen, talking. So
is there any specific pass on the court that you feel like you've experienced some improvement at over the past year?
Definitely hitting the roller for sure. And I knew I could always do it. I was just afraid of, you know, longer defenders getting the ball and, you know, making it my turnover, you know, and just having to carry that weight on my shoulder to where it's like, it's my turnover. You know, I didn't want to, you know, get another turnover or make another bad decision. So just getting more comfortable and hitting the roller for sure.
Who's your favorite guard in the NBA or all time?
All time, Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you love about AI?
The flair.
Yeah.
And how he was himself. You know, people didn't like it, but no matter who like it or who don't like it, you know, you always got to be yourself. So,
are you going to ever pull out an equally memorable quote like practice?
Nah, I can't do it.
Do you like to practice, Scoot?
I love to practice.
Oh, yeah?
I'll be going hard in practice. I get hurt. I like practice.
Okay, more than Allen Iverson.
Probably more than Allen Iverson, but I don't think that's what the question was about. But yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Who are some of the other guards in the NBA now that you love?
Obviously Chris Paul.
What do you love about Chris Paul?
Just, you know, his ability to lead and to be vocal and to be the vet he is, and be a great point guard he is. Just passing abilities, mid-range ability, everything about, you know, the defensive side of the ball. So that's really who I've just been watching film on.
Here's my flopping take. Flopping is not penalized, and flopping can help your team win games if it gets the ref to blow the whistle in your favor.
Definitely.
Do you agree?
I definitely agree. Just because a guy like Chris Paul, you know, he for sure. He makes the ref, you know, he's just that person to, you know, make friends with refs and, you know, just get on their good side or whatever to, you know, get those calls that might win them the game or just little things like that. I wouldn't say any of his game wins are
of course
or whatever, but just little
you can
things
even
like
get under the skin of the other team too.
Right. So
the mental aspect of the game. Yeah. I saw in another interview that you said you like to watch Drew Holiday. What do you watch from him?
The defensive side of the ball.
Why do scouts say that you are a liability then if you're watching Drew Holiday film?
I don't know, man. They need to cut that out. But
the block he had on Marcus Smart.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was a clutch block. And then he got another steal, which was even crazy. I was like, yeah.
He's insane on defense. He's got a
guy's pretty good.
Never-ending motor. We talked about rim protection earlier as a guard. He's always around the rim when he needs to be too in help situations.
I don't know. I've never seen him in person, but he looks like a big guard to me. So, or at least like 6'4", 6'5", real bulky or whatever. But great defender.
You remind me a little bit of like Ja Morant in the sense that when you're in transition on the break, like it's like you're just on another speed than everybody else. And that's like, you know, your ability to get to the basket, finish loudly at the rim. And Ja has translated his game so quickly in the NBA. Does seeing a guy like him, you know, blossom quickly, you know, does that kind of show you a path, you know, with certain things that you can kind of follow and, you know, do in your own way as you do approach that point?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you hear a lot of people saying like, you ain't going to keep like jumping or whatever. And when you get in the league and stuff like that. So, I see guys like Ja that's, you know, obviously I wouldn't say we have the same like ability to fly, but I mean, I feel like I can jump just as high and just as long as I keep working, I can, you know, maintain that. But just, you know, as long as people stay healthy, you know, I think it's unbelievable what guys like us can do.
For sure. Oh, no, I mean, like, I think, you know, with Ja and you, like, it's the ability, it's not just the leaping ability to get up for some of those loud open floor dunks, but it's like the body control in traffic to contort your body and, you know, lay the ball up against contact with your left hand off the backboard with English, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's just like playing around, honestly. Like playing 21 with my older friends and my older teammates like that. That's just like just an ability, you know, God-given. But
Ja went number 2 behind Zion. Do you care about going number 1?
Of course I care about going number 1. It's just, you know, I'm blessed to be in the position I'm in right now to, you know, to even be considered where I'm at right now. But the competitive side of me, and it just makes me want to be number 1. You know, I've always wanted to be number 1 in whatever I would do. So it's just in me.
Victor Wembanyama, the 7-foot-something French center, is the player most people have ranked number 1, including me right now. What's your assessment of his game?
Tall, you know, he's well sounded. So you got all around game. He can shoot the ball, anything around the rim, he could protect or dunk, stuff like that.
I think the argument for you as number 1 over him will be like the value of offensive creators. You know, like the best players in the league are typically the offensive engines for a team. And with Wembanyama, he's probably going to be more of the elite finisher type, where he's picking, popping for threes, attacking the closeout, rolling down the rim, obviously dominating on defense, you would hope, as he reaches his prime. Why do you think you should be the number 1 prospect?
I feel like I could do everything you just said and better, honestly. And, you know, I could lead my team. I'm a vocal point guard, and I'm going to get stops on D, shoot the ball well. I'm going to distribute the ball more than I'm going to shoot probably. And as long as my team is good, I'm just an unselfish player. And then the selfish player, when it's my time, you know, I'm going to shine. So.
Is there any part of you that has some extra motivation this week, considering it is, you know, 2 top prospects in the world right now?
I feel like I don't need no extra motivation. Honestly,
even going against him?
No, I think
I'd have extra motivation if I was going against him. I mean, I'd want to dunk on his face.
I mean, of course, that's my mindset at any time. I'm gonna step on the court,
no matter
whoever
it is, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to dominate and demoralize whoever I'm in front of.
Is there anybody you really want to dunk on in the NBA right now? And why is it Rudy Gobert? Everybody hates Rudy Gobert. I just assume it's
I feel like because he's just one of those guys that a paint protector, like a great paint protector.
Yeah.
So it's like, just the competitiveness and everybody that just, who can fly, just want to be able to just say they dunked on Rudy.
I love Rudy Gobert.
Rudy's a great player.
Yeah, he is. Thank you for saying that. A lot of people on Twitter don't think so.
Yeah, he's a good player, I think.
Yeah, he does his thing. He does all the beyond the box stuff. We're talking about screening, rolling. Like, he's the type of big you want on your team.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you want him setting screens for you. When you do dunk on somebody, you just mentioned demoralizing them. You've had some moments like that last season with the Ignite. What did that feel like in that moment? I'll never get to experience what that's like. I'm 5'10", 210 pounds. I'm never going to get to dunk on somebody. What's that feel like, Scoot?
Like I said, I just feel like you're demoralizing them. And, you're just taking their spirit away. And then taking their confidence away.
Like a Grim Reaper?
Exactly. And just, I think it's just fun. And then you see the highlight, you're like, God. I mean, like your friends, they calling you like, yo, you don't have to do that. And it's just like, little stuff like that. It just made me smile.
What do you think about the Lakers this year?
I think they're going to be pretty good. They got Russell Westbrook and LeBron, obviously. And they got Pat. They got a whole bunch of guys. I feel like they can be good. The only reason, I don't know why they weren't, and like anticipatedly good last year. They were, but it didn't work out. But I don't think it was, no problem of the players or even the staff. It just wasn't the good, the right situation. Just players weren't playing at the time. Players were injured. It just
Anthony Davis was out.
Yeah, you got to have a healthy staff and good training, so stuff like that.
I mean, I think on paper they definitely are equipped to be better than they were last year, as long as AD's healthy. Right now, though, the conversation around them is about trade Russ. It doesn't seem like they're going to do that. It's all
they don't need to trade Russ. I mean, Russ going to be Russ regardless. The great player he is regardless.
Does he need to evolve, though? Because that's kind of the conversation this year. Like you mentioned adapting, kind of with the team and making the extra pass. And there's so many great players. The conversation now is they want him to evolve and kind of fit into the team. What's your kind of take on that?
I feel like Russ can be Russ still. And, I mean, he averaged a triple-double. I don't know why he couldn't do it there, even if it's 15, 10, and 10. I mean, I don't know. But that's a conversation, not with me. So,
What was your favorite quality about Russ when he was in his prime?
I think he still is in his prime, but just his pull up for sure, and how high he elevates off the ground when he shoots, how he passes. He talks to his big all the time. The great leader he is, the emotion he plays with is everything.
The emotion, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's authored some amazing moments in Oklahoma City, where that crowd was just going absolutely nuts because of the energy he brought on the court. Yeah. I think with Russ, almost like sometimes what works so well for him for years in his, you say he's still in his prime, but in the prime production years, almost now has kind of been a limitation for him where he's not a super efficient shooter. Now he has LeBron James on his team and Anthony Davis on his team. And it's having to adapt to those guys. I mean, I never loved Russ, but I love your game. It's weird, but you two guys get compared a lot. He's one of your favorite players. But I feel with your game, you A, have higher upside as a shooter. B, your defense, dude, the energy you bring on that side of the floor, to me, that puts you on a potentially other level. I guess what are some of when you compare and contrast yourself to Russ, what are some of the things you see in him that's in your game, and what are some things that you think are different about your game compared to him?
Yeah, thank you. But I don't try to compare myself to anybody, honestly. I just try to compare myself to my last game. You're only good as your last game. That's what people say. So I just try to put in the work, honestly.
So let's compare yourself to your past versions of yourself then. With your jump shot, you've talked this year about kind of working on that and improving that. I feel with your game, there's optimism for your jumper. You have good touch at the rim. You hit all these crazy left hand, off hand, layups, English off the rim. It's crazy, the layups that you can hit. Good touch at the free throw line, shoot high 70%. And you've shown some flashes as a shooter as well. Where is your jump shot right now compared to where it was 1 year ago? And where do you see it going?
I think it's, pretty good right now. And I feel like it's always been pretty good. And as long as I'm keep putting the work in there, It's gonna pay. It can't do nothing but pay off. You know what I mean? And it's just the confidence part and believing that the shot's going in. That's all it is about me, honestly, and just focusing on the next play.
Does confidence come from reps, or like how does confidence build as a shooter?
Reps. You know, that's what my coach is telling me, my dad, trainers. That's what everybody's telling me. So I'm just locking in, honestly, and just staying locked in. I think that's what it is. Locking in the game, locking in on every single shot you take, and you miss it, next shot. You know, I feel like that's the mindset that I need to focus on this year. And if the play doesn't work out, the next shot, you know, or next play, you know what I mean? And that's why my gym in Marietta, Georgia is called Next Play for that reason specifically. So,
do you need a reliable jumper to be a superstar in the NBA today? Not just you specifically, but in general.
I think you could do a lot of great things other than shooting the ball, even scoring at that, and still be considered a great player. Look at Draymond Green; he's a prime example. You know, he knows he could do. He knows he can score. He's in the league. I mean, he knows he could do all those things: score the ball, shoot the ball, lay the ball up. But I think you could do a lot of different things other than just on the offensive side, like cutting, offensive rebounding, setting good screens. You can still be considered a great player or reliable.
For sure. I mean, like Draymond is going to be a Hall of Famer, top 20 guy, top 25 player in the NBA right now, and he doesn't need to shoot once for his team to have a significant positive impact from him.
Yeah, and I feel like even if he wasn't on Golden State, he'd still be the player he is because he plays with so much heart and so much energy and intensity, and how great of a person he is. So
I think that, like, just to tie this back to Russ, that's the thing. Like Darvin Ham, their head coach, talked about earlier this year. He's like, he wants Russ to cut more and more spot up shooting and more consistent effort on defense. Because I think Russ has that in him. Like the player you talked about, the energy that you saw in Oklahoma City, he can do that. You know, he can bring that. It's just the kind of a mindset tweak where maybe they don't need 20 shots from you, but it's about that extra cut to the rim to kind of, cause a rotation, opening up a shooter, little things like that, where it's beyond the box score. Like I think this year he has it in him. It's just a matter of, is the team going to keep him or not? I'm really excited to see if he does develop in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I feel like whatever they do, if they keep him or if they trade him, I feel like you're going to be good wherever you go, wherever he is. So,
what's something scouts get wrong about you?
I'm a liability on defense. I ain't going for none of that on defense. I ain't just going to give somebody the basket. I got heart, so I'm not just going to let somebody keep scoring on me. And I feel like people get that mixed up with being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So
kind of like an awareness thing where it's like you're still learning like where to be, right, when to be there.
Right.
I mean, because I've seen you like make plays where you're coming in on the help side and you're contesting shots at the rim and you're flying them because you're so athletic. I wonder if in some ways it's just kind of like you're 6'3".
Yeah.
And like you're smallest guy on the court sometimes where it's just that bias.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you would deal with being attacked on defense?
I don't know. They might try to post, but I'm with Ernie. I train with knocking or something, so I ain't going for none of that. I'm going to stand my ground.
Who's the best point guard in the NBA right now?
Maybe Steph.
Maybe Steph? It's not just clearly Steph?
Point guard. Steph is
he's like a hybrid. I guess so. Let's say strictly guard.
Strictly guard?
Yeah,
Chris Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steph is more of the off ball.
Yeah.
Can do all that type of stuff too. But a traditional throwback point guard, Chris Paul.
Oh, yeah.
But overall guard, Steph.
Oh, yeah.
I'd agree with
Steph
that.
or Dame? I don't know.
Dame's not on Steph's level. Let's be serious.
I don't know.
Dame's great.
I like Steph's game.
Level.
I mean, I like both their games.
Steph
I think I'm gonna be the best player.
Steph is a historic shooter. Dame is a great shooter. Steph is on a
great
Steph
player.
is also a way better defender.
He is a great defender.
He's a way underrated defender, and that's
people do underrate that about his game.
And that's why it's good that you're talking about like you feel disrespected when it comes to scouts saying liability on defense because defense does matter. Exactly. It's part of the equation.
Yeah, I've seen Steph like people up, so he definitely is a good defender.
This came to mind while we were talking. I asked you earlier about like the unselfish players coming in. People talked like Steph with his shooting would, influence younger players to shoot from deeper and all of that. I wonder if the Warriors, the way they play, their selfless style has kind of made an impact on some of the young guys watching the game as they're coming up. Did you feel like they influenced you at all? Or maybe like a little bit? A little, yeah.
Just to see how, obviously they have 4. So just to see how they're winning. I mean, obviously there's no other team like them to shoot like that, to have that many. I mean, a lot of teams have shooters, but guys got Steph and Clay, Jordan. Just a good team, and a great coach for sure, and even great Draymond Green to make those plays happen. So,
what goals do you have for this coming year with the Ignite, and then your rookie year with the NBA?
My goals this year is to be the best player I could be. Honestly, the best way I can help out my team, the best way I can help out myself and my development. That's my main goal. And then I'm just trying to be the best point guard to ever play the game in the league, honestly. Just trying to be the best player I can be and the best teammate I can be, the best person I can be.
So you want to be the best version of yourself, and how much of that requires winning as many championships as possible? Is that part of the equation in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm a winner. That's my mindset, to win. So I mean, if I win one, I'm gonna be grateful. If I win two, I'm gonna be grateful. 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, winning is huge to me. So,
I mean, with that in mind, would you rather win 4 championships in 4 different cities, or 1 championship in a place you play your entire career?
Whatever guy got in play.
Sometimes it's out of your control. You get traded.
That's out of my control,
right?
Exactly.
Teams traded for you, whatever it might be. Yeah, I saw you shared a clip on your Instagram of Marjon Beauchamp, for the Bucks playing in the preseason right now. To me, he underlines the importance of role players in the NBA with the upside to be more than that. 3-and-D, shoots threes, constantly hustling on defense. What's your assessment of his game and what his upside could be there in Milwaukee?
Like you said, a great player, just playing his role and, more than that. You know what I'm saying? He can do everything on the court. He's 6. I don't know how tall he is now. I ain't seen him in a minute, but when I seen him 6'9", 6'8", real linky. He does everything around the basket, all the cleanups, just a great player all around.
You're a point guard who obviously handles the ball a ton. And guys like him sometimes their touches might be less frequent. They're cutting to the rim, they're shooting, catch and shoot opportunities. As a point guard, how do you keep players like that happy and satisfied on the court?
You just keep talking to them, honestly. As a point guard, you know every single time when you go down the court, who hasn't touched the ball. You can tell by their body language if they need the ball, if they want the ball, and they're hustling on defense. That's really how I base it off. As long as you're doing great on defense, you're talking and just getting loose balls and little things like that in the game, you're going to get rewarded.
Do you have a favorite moment with him from last year?
For sure. We was actually playing the Bucks, and then, it was on a fast break, threw the lob, and then he dunked it. We just dapped up.
Dyson Daniels, what's your assessment of his game? Give me a scouting report as if I had never watched him.
He's a big guard. Big guard, pass like magic, honestly. He's like magic, for real. Big guard, he can shoot, he can dunk, he can do everything. And a great person. They're all great people. Marjon, Jaden, Dyson, Mike, all great people.
With Dyson, you mentioned how he's a big guard. He's like 6'7", 6'8", something like that.
He done grew. I seen him in New York. He was like 6'7".
That Pelicans team's big. Like CJ McCollum is the one smaller guard they have, like 6'3". But
that's crazy.
Besides that, it's like you got Ingram who can handle the ball. Dyson Daniels now. Zion, obviously. Herb Jones, he's not going to be the primary, but Herb Jones can even handle a little bit for you. That team's got a lot of size and length and versatility. Like with the NBA nowadays, I think people talk a lot about small ball. Obviously, that's changed. You get Jokic and Embiid as bigs, but I feel like there's a lot of big guards, a lot of big ball handlers in the NBA today.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like you still need those guys like Jose on your team.
Alvarado.
Yep.
Yeah, with
Jose,
sneak attack steals.
Watch for sure. Like, you definitely need guys like that and guys like that can just distribute the ball and all around players.
It's interesting with Jalen Green because I felt like he got way better over the course of the year with the Ignite. The 1 year he played, like you could see his feel for the game. He's using hesitations more often on the court. I mean, like when you did make that decision, like I know you've played up a level, against older ages ever since you were young. That's right. Like ever since you were a young kid. How much of that played into the decision to play up a level again?
Honestly, I just wanted to get used to that bump and just get used to the environment, the NBA environment, the G League environment, and just that pro experience on and off the court, being away from home, missing your family, just little things like that. So I just, it was a no-brainer, honestly, and wanted to get better. I wanted to be the best I could be. So,
do you feel like you made that progress last year, like even off-court stuff, like in that regard?
Definitely. Just getting used to being a young adult, being a young man, having to, go to the grocery store and stuff like that. Just little
and
things
cook
off
your
the
own
court.
meals sometimes.
Cook your own meals. I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't say I cook every day, but my brother CJ, he's here, and last year he was there with me to help a little bit around and just make sure I was good, and my family would go back and forth. So I still have my family around for sure.
When did you turn 18 this year?
February.
So you were 17 last year during the showcase and earlier in the season when you had second game of the year, 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Third game, 22, 10, and 8. Fourth games, 27, 8, and 4 with 5 steals, limited turnovers every night, filled the box score. I thought watching those games, you were better than Jalen Green was that entire year that he had with the Ignite. And that was with you at 17. Was there any part of you at all that was surprised at how quickly some of the success was coming for you?
Honestly, I wasn't surprised at all. I put in the work, so whatever results it was, it came from God. So I was just living with the results and just working.
Why did you choose basketball over football?
It was more long term, and I started to love it more as I put in the work. I started to love it and gain confidence in the game. So.
I feel like watching you look like a safety or a corner. Sometimes you're like a defensive ball hawk on the court. Did you play that position?
I played safety and linebacker, but I played a little bit of quarterback for like a year.
Oh, quarterback
and then
too.
My main position was running back and wide receiver. But
so you were kind of like all over the field then. You played every. You just listed all of like the key skill positions.
I mean,
on the field.
I was pretty athletic.
Yeah. So you played quarterback for 1 year. What did you learn in that year playing quarterback?
To be a leader, honestly, and to make sure everybody's in the right spots, make sure everybody is, calm and collected. And I feel like that's where I get it now. And just making sure everybody's good, everybody's okay. And there's no mixed feelings and no play and no situation of the game, no situation of practice, even off the field, just things like that, make sure the team's okay.
But you kind of, was it valuable to play all those different positions on football? Because you're playing safety, playing some linebacker, different responsibilities at all of these different positions. Like, is that translatable at all to basketball?
Yes, definitely. Just the physical part of it, and then the talking part of it. Poole and the coaches, they're on me. Just being a leader. So I feel like football and leading the team and just being in those athletics positions, definitely helped me. My dad, we were always training on the speed ladder to make sure, I was quick on my feet, big old ankle weights, just make sure I was quick and, athletic.
I saw in an interview with Deuce and Mo is at Summer League, a Kings podcast, that you mentioned that at one point you thought your path might have been going to Oregon for college football and then you're playing for the 49ers. You're a 49ers fan?
Right.
I see. So what do you think about the unfortunately Trey Lance injury, season over?
Yeah,
but Jimmy G back in there.
Yeah, I seen that. I almost shed a tear, man. Trey Lance, he was going to be our quarterback, our quarterback this year and our generational player. He's a very good player, but unfortunately, God had different plans, and I feel like as long as he keep his head high and keep his confidence, he'll be good, and the team will be good for sure. But we got Jimmy, so he'll get the job done.
We got a lot of talent on offense on that team.
We got Debo. As long as we got Debo.
Yeah, well, Debo, he still has his contract situation right now, right?
Yeah, we ain't worrying about that right now.
It doesn't matter. The game's
as long as he's playing.
As long as he's playing. Does he got your fantasy team too?
Nah, man, I ain't got no fantasy team. I ain't okay. Deep. But defense is good. We good. The jersey's fine. We straight.
Yeah, the jersey is definitely. But Trey Lance will be back next year, hopefully.
Yeah,
you'd hope so. Well, you said you got better. You leveled up more in basketball than you did football. Was there a moment that you decided? Like, what was the moment you decided to choose basketball over football? Was it a family conversation? Like, how'd that go down?
It was more of just. I was in 9th grade. Season was over. Football season was over, and I honestly just lost the love of it. Honestly, it was just more of like, I'm trying to hoop. Like that's when like the goal of NBA clicked. Just watching film and not watching film, but just watching videos on YouTube and stuff like that. Just started loving the game of basketball way more than I have. It was always seasonal and like it would be football season. going into basketball season, I didn't want to play football. It would be basketball season going into football season. I didn't want to play football, but my dad, he helped me, and he made me play the sports to where I'm athletic enough to play both of them. But it was just a talk in the mirror, honestly. One of those.
Talking in the mirror, you said? What do you mean by that?
Like I told myself, I think basketball is the way. And if you put the work in, good things will happen.
Have you always been an introspective person like that? Kind of like looking within? You said looking in the mirror, yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
Does that come from family?
Yeah. Just my mom, always keeping it real with us. My mom and dad just keeping it real with us and, telling us the truth. And I feel like you always got to be real with yourself as well.
It's kind of like, sounds like what you're describing, like having honest people around you in your life has kind of like made you honest with yourself, right?
Right.
What are some of your other interests besides basketball then? Like right now, obviously still watching football. What else you like?
Yeah, football. Play a little video game here and there, 2K, Madden. I read a little bit. I just chill, honestly. Chill, make sure everybody else good.
And I noticed, so with 2K, first of all, do you like playing 2K? I don't like
Yeah, I
playing
mess with 2K.
I wish I liked playing 2K.
2K this year is way more realistic.
Really?
I think. Just the moves.
Mm-hmm.
They got everybody moves this year down packed. And then Madden.
Like the signature moves?
Yeah, the signature moves.
What
like
would
they
be
got
your signature move in the game when they capture your animations?
Probably one of those hezzy pulls. Like if they got the dribble pull-ups, mine would be like that. Then the sides would be like cross hop or like a hop and a doo-doo and then a hop or something like that. I do it when I get in the dots.
You must be excited to play as yourself in the game, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like my people are excited to play with me as well, though.
I was excited. They had me like on that Twitter feed.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
they
that's
had
tough.
me in there.
What?
So the tweets aren't realistic though. They gotta have realistic tweets. It's not. They got like
what you said. Like you trash and P.
I mean, they got everybody tweeting like Woj in there and shots. Like it's like random
dope,
people
though.
reporting stuff. It's funny in there.
Yeah.
But I noticed on your Twitter you have a guitar emoji next to your name. Do you play guitar at all? Like, why is that?
Nah,
there? What's that?
You got to rock out.
Oh, rock out.
And you got to be yourself and, be your full self, your inner self. Believe in what you believe in. Just have fun with life. Anything can happen. So just have fun.
Have you always had this mindset? Like, when did you start developing this mindset? Be yourself. Because like that's like when I was 18 years old, I was worried about what people thought about me.
Yeah.
But for you, like you're 18 and you're just like rock out. I'm gonna be Scoot and not worry about anything.
It happened when like social media started to get like in everybody's head, and I would just like I would try to stay away from that because it could easily get to your head, and all what everybody says about you could easily get to your head. But I've always just stuck with God and talk to Him all the time and. Like I said, He's gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna be real back to myself. It's always a time to be real. You know what I mean? To look yourself in the mirror and be true to yourself. So
you told me before our interview that you went to Spain this summer. I saw that you filmed a movie, Shooting Stars. What do you remember about filming that? What was your favorite moment?
Honestly, just after the cast members got off the set, we were all in the same building, so. We would just hang out and kick it literally every day. Like no matter how early in the morning it was, it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll be up because we'll be at set all day. You know what I mean? And we'll just kick it in one another's room, like playing 2K, chilling.
Did you have fun doing that? Like, is it what's your experience like filming a movie?
It was days where it's just like a sport. Honestly, I got a lot of respect for actors and.
Did you have lines that you had to remember?
Yeah, I had lines.
Yeah, how many lines? Like Anthony Edwards level, like you're talking trash. Did you see him in Hustle?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I see him. I was definitely playing more of like I was just playing Romeo Travis. He came in the gang or whatever late, the Fab Four late. So that was like 10th grade, maybe 10th or 9th grade where he came in. So, they were always, the LeBron and Drew, they were always, and Willie, they were all, chilling since a young age and stuff like that. So I just came late.
I mentioned Hustle with Anthony Edwards, Juan Hernangomez. What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
Sports movie. Like Mike.
Like Mike.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Like Mike or Love and Basketball, if that's a sports movie.
Am I basic if I say Rocky? Is that basic? Have you ever seen Rocky?
I have seen Rocky.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of basic.
It is basic. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I mean,
it's a good movie.
It's great characters. Creed,
yeah.
Drago,
yeah,
big Russian dudes.
Yeah.
They could
I
consider.
feel like Mike is definitely better than
Yeah.
Creed.
Do you plan on doing more acting? Do you want to do more of that?
I think so, yeah. As
How
long as
come?
it doesn't mess with my main goal, you know what I mean?
It's like
But,
I keep the main thing
yeah,
type
for
of thing.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But definitely acting, modeling. I feel like those things were
Like fashion.
Yeah, for sure.
Go Kyle Kuzma in you then.
Yeah.
You gotta wear
School Henderson.
You see that big pink robe he had on earlier this year?
I seen that.
Like
Nah, that's not my kind of style, honestly.
It's not my
everybody has their own style. But I like the more like, abstract kind of clothing. Yeah.
You mentioned your family earlier and how integral they kind of were with helping like with basketball, stuff like that. And you have all these things on your plate. How do you manage your time? Like, is family help with that, or?
I mean, shoot, whenever I get to talk to them and be with them, I be with them. I try not to make the game the first thing I do after, business is done, like basketball and stuff like that is done. I try to go see them a little bit as much as I can and, talk to them on the phone, talk to my little nephew on the phone, stuff like that. But
how many siblings do you have?
6.
So you are the youngest
boy. I got a little sister.
Okay, I see. So that's a family of 7 then.
Yep.
I'm an only child. That's like a totally different existence than me.
How is an only child?
I mean, I guess I had all the attention.
I bet you that'd be feeling like, is it annoying?
I mean, and sometimes maybe.
Like
sometimes
they be all
it would be nice
on
to
you.
have separation, right?
Right.
You probably had your alone time when you were younger, right?
For sure. Like everybody else be upstairs and I be downstairs.
Because like your family all were athletes too. Like like your sisters play basketball or still do, right?
My little sister played basketball.
So like everybody kind of has their own thing sometimes.
Facts. Yeah.
So you like that? You like that freedom then?
It'd be times for sure. Like if I ain't trying to hear nothing, I'm trying to chill. And,
Go play 2K, right?
I'll chill downstairs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely more days where I want to be with them for sure.
But your parents were hands on though.
Always,
mm-hmm.
Always.
And that's despite like them having to handle 7 kids. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's why that's my main goal right now is just to get back to them, get back to my whole family, and most importantly, my mom and dad, my grandma. Because they always looked after all of us, made sure we were all great people on and off the court, make sure we were true to each other. Make sure we loved each other, had each other backs at all times. They always told us like, if we all had $1, we had $1 by ourselves. But if we all came in $7, we can get a 7 McChickens or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So just gotta, we live like by that kind of.
Well, now it's like a potential top pick, like the rookie scale contracts. It's like 10 million, first year. That's incredible.
Exactly.
Does that kind of like, how does that make you feel when you like think about those numbers and what that would mean for your family?
It just made me go grind some more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just gives me another reason to, do what I do and give back. And, it'll put me in a great position to give back to my family, my community for sure. And at my gym, Next Play 360. And just things like that.
What's the most clutch shot you've ever hit in your life?
Probably free throws in like 9th grade, region championship.
Free throws,
mm-hmm.
A lot of pressure. Everybody's looking at you.
Yeah.
When have you choked the hardest on the court?
I don't even know. I don't really choke too much.
You had a moment last year, end game, tie game. You didn't get a shot off.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was against Mexico City. In that moment, what would you have done differently now?
I don't remember that moment, honestly.
Just next play mentality, right?
Exactly. probably just demoralize the defender, like just to have more confidence in myself. That's about it. And actually just shoot it. Just let it go and stop thinking so much.
Who's the best player in the NBA today?
LeBron.
Still LeBron.
Yeah. Or Giannis.
Giannis.
Giannis is
How about the bigs, Jokic and Embiid? No?
I like Embiid, man.
Embiid's great.
Embiid.
Why LeBron still? So what make the argument for LeBron right now as the best player still in the game?
He does everything still at a high level. He's faster than a lot of guys still. More athletic than a lot of guys still. And then he's getting a great shot. And just a great fade. I mean, he's just got a lot.
So I wouldn't have him ranked number 1 right now, but I still think he's one of those guys you can make the argument for. Because last year, despite the Lakers losing, LeBron still averaged over 30 points. Still, like with AD out, he was playing the 5 mid-year. We talk about doing different things that your team needs. LeBron was playing center for them and doing a good job at it. I feel like that's gone underrated just because the Lakers underwhelmed. Well, LeBron still does do everything.
I'm tripping.
KD too.
KD.
Yep, KD's on that conversation as well. And Steph can probably be in there too.
For sure.
Yeah, Steph can be in that as well. Are there any rule changes you would like to see happen in the NBA? Widening the court, anything like that?
Widening the court?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard about that. I feel like that'd be OD spacing.
Yeah, kind of like,
But I mean, guys are
equal shot from the corner three instead of in top of the key, that type of thing.
Oh, I mean, maybe like the G League 1 free throw rule.
Do you like that?
Yeah, it's more fast paced.
More fast. So like, is it higher pressure with the 1 shot instead of 2, or no difference really?
I mean, I guess I don't really try to look at it, but I just think of it like gotta knock it down. Free throw.
What do you think about Vegas as a sports city?
I love it. I'm all for it, honestly. Looking for an NBA team
NBA
out here.
Expansion, right? They got to do it.
I think the expansion would be tough. I'm trying to own that team.
You want to own Vegas NBA team?
Vegas, yep.
Yeah, Vegas and Seattle. It sounds like the NBA will end up doing, which would be
That'd
amazing.
Be tough.
Bring a team back to Seattle, bring the Supersonics back as well. In Vegas, is there temptations here? I mean, there's all these casinos and bars and restaurants and girls and everything.
I mean, I'm 18. I can't do. I'm 18. I can't do too much. I ain't never been.
How do you just stay in your room, play video games, hang out here mostly?
Yeah, I think of my mom or my dad to like in the back of my head all the time, like don't be doing something like you wouldn't want any bad outcome to happen or anything like that. Like you're here for a reason. You're here on a business trip the whole 8, 9, 7 months. You're here to handle business. So.
Are you like a religious, spiritual person? You mentioned God a couple times throughout our conversation.
I really don't want to say like I'm a religious person or a spiritual person. I just believe in things of that nature, kind of. Like I believe in God and I believe in hard work. And you get in what you put out. So
you're 18. You're an amazing basketball player. You have this incredible life that you're just starting to grow into right now. Do you ever feel like you're living in a simulation at all?
Kind of. I mean, I'm all for this conversation. Like I look at things like that, kind of, but not like no crazy simulation. It's just like fun and game simulation. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like everybody is here for a reason. Everybody comes to your life for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. That's how I look at it.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
To be happy, to be true, to be yourself, and to have fun and whatever you do, basketball, and do what makes you happy, not your peers or your family. At that, do what makes you most importantly happy.
We'll end it there. Thank you, Scoot.
Thank you.